Michelle.
Oh, I had to give my consent for the live stream. I updated my Zoom. Sorry. Um, well, happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to July. It is July 2nd. Stand up. We got a small crew today, so we'll just get going. And just don't forget, Monday's a holiday, so have a great long weekend. And also, just a reminder, we can do Rose and Thorn or something you learned, since we've got an extra small group today. A lot of sharing. We've got time for it. So I'm going to start with Catherine, who is next to me.
Hello, I've been working on I just started the consumer default project. And I guess I worked out a couple of the kinks, but the workouts I did will also need more work. So, but I mean, it runs sort of through for now, but I'll probably have to change several of the screens, like put drop downs for the cord and everything.
Just for a little context for everyone else, the consumer default interview is one that was built last summer, and Eleni did some testing on it, and it had a few places that it was unstable. And so while Catherine's in between her old project and her new one, has kindly volunteered to implement some of those fixes. And so that's what's going on. And in pulling it apart, we are having to reassemble it a little bit in different places and also update it to the most current assembly line stuff. Just for a little context, but so thank you for doing that, Catherine. Right on. I'll move to Ryan.
So, I mean, I'm sure you are all probably getting tired of hearing me say this, but I met with Michelle again and made some more fantastic progress and mostly rounded out the issue that we were trying to work through with that. We may revisit it to switch up some of the syntax to something that's a little more complicated, but maybe more efficient than what we have set up right now. But then in addition to that, we finally heard back today from, I believe her name is Abby, who Caroline got in touch with for us, who is offered to be our SME. And unfortunately, I haven't had time to meet with her today or anything yet, but trying to set something up for Tuesday next week to hopefully work through some of the questions that Donna and I still have about how we should structure the questions or order and appearance and stuff like that. But I think that is mostly it for us. And I'll probably have some more once we actually get through some stuff with the SME.
Awesome. I think then SME will really help you guys with your build after we talked. Seems like it'll give you a really clear trajectory going forward. So that's great news. Regis, what have you got going
on? For the late docketing statement, Teaching Tuesday was a huge help, and that solved kind of a pretty big issue that I was working through. I received some clarity from the appeals court regarding one of the questions in the interview. And though the answer was very simple, the actual solution took a while. But I guess that's just how it goes sometimes. And jury instructions, plugging along. This is the first Friday that I don't have a good news Friday from my various projects, but that's okay. Maybe we'll get a good news Tuesday. We'll see.
There are still hours left in the day, Regis. There are still hours left in the day.
And I think there was plenty of good news in there, but awesome. Shauna and Kajal, what are you two working on?
We met with our SME, Kate, this morning, and so she told us to remove a lot of questions and add a few little minor details, and we got all our questions answered from the demo.
Fantastic. Lots of SME work happening. This is really great step that everyone's moving towards. Michelle, you have anything?
For me, I don't know if everybody already knows on here, version 2.0.0 is out for the testing framework, which is exciting. I should have said it in a more excited way. I just wasn't sure if it's something I'd announced already, and then it would be, I don't know. But it is exciting. I'm learning. I haven't learned yet, but I'm learning how to, or relearning how to not build a Docker container, but run an image. And I don't know. It's getting there. we're getting closer. I wanted to survey folks on office hours because sometimes on Fridays, which is totally okay, people are kind of closing down for the weekend, so they don't need the office hours on Friday and don't come. And if you're not going to, which is totally okay, how about this? If you think you could use the office hours this Friday, raise your hand, which is today. Today is Friday. All right. Not seeing any hands.
People are
If you
anxious
think
for
of
the long
it,
weekend.
then tell me later. I think a lot of people are, but it's good to know because then I might go on a walk or do something else. Like there's other things I can do if it's not necessary. Cool. Gosh, and I wrote up, I think, a lot of documentation for testing. Just reviewing issues. I think there's like nothing exciting that's happened between Tuesday and today, other than just hanging with people. Y'all are learning so fast. It's amazing. Kudos to Ryan and Dana, by the way, for like just this interview is like some serious stuff in there. So like total thumbs up. And cool, exciting stuff. I think I've learned, always check the template. Always check the template. There's something in the template too. You gotta dig deeper. So yeah, that's a lesson. Everybody take that. Everybody, including the people using PDFs, still check the template. Not just docs. Okay, so I think that's it for me.
Cool.
Thanks.
And it's funny how many heads just shook. It seems like we're all kind of learning that lesson the hard way this past few weeks. So, all right. Awesome. Thanks, Michelle. Sarah, what do you have going on?
So I'm ready to demo my form. As I was doing a run through for myself, I was like, you know what? There is one more thing I need to do, but excited to at least get some eyes on it today. And I've been working. Oh, perfect. Eleni's on. We've been working to get filing addresses for the kind of courts. What I thought was funny was I feel like we've been hitting some walls. I feel like Eleni has not interacted with the nicest folks when like she's trying to get this information, but I sent an email and I'm getting like oddly nice replies. So I feel like people just are, I don't know. But so the good news is I think people are slowly coming around to just giving us their filing address. So I will fill in all that information in the sheet. But thanks to Elena's great help getting all the email addresses, everybody kind of has been reached out to. So the plan is that I'll fill all those in, and I sent like a generic-ish message so that I could BCC everyone. But in the message, I was like, and if you have more than one court, please let us know. If you have different filing addresses, please just let us know which one for. So I've been getting back some pretty helpful replies. And then for the folks we don't get information back from, we're going to do some good old-fashioned phone calls. But we're hoping to I got at least like 40 replies. My inbox was blown up. So
wow,
hopefully that's a good sign. But it seems like people are nicer, I think, because of a long weekend. We hit them. We hit them when they're happiest. Yeah.
Well, maybe someone was just having a day, but I'm glad that it's working.
Or the vitriol replies don't make it into email, and so you're just
maybe they'll save their anger.
Maybe people are a little more patient when they're sitting down with their emails as opposed to harried while they're on the phone and everything else is going on too.
Yeah, you get to do it. They get to it when they want to get to it. So
yeah, I had a lot of exclamation points in there. I was like, hey, we really would love to have this. We're trying to use this to help people. So please help us.
These are important business lessons that we're all learning from this experience from you too. So thank you for working so much on that. And we're looking forward to your demo. Do you have anything else, Sarah?
No.
Okay, great. And Eleni, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. So Aubrey, I don't know if you brought this up already, but the two of us met this morning to map up more of the flows in the 209A. Aubrey had the idea that we should use a flow chart to map everything out, to map out the scenarios and stuff, so it can be easier to figure out the testing and keep track of that. So yeah, that's pretty much all for me.
Cool. And Anna. Oh, Michelle. Did Do you have a comment?
Well, I was thinking, depending on, like, I know Caroline is, or at least was really busy the last time she was on. I don't know how long that's supposed to last, but if it's, she has a good sense of the 209A flow. It is really, it's pretty involved. It's pretty hard to trace. So like, maybe someone who's kind of more familiar with it can help that happen. If they don't have time, then, you know, you got to do what you got to do, but
Caroline
just might
has
be worth.
Yeah, we had to talk to Caroline on the side and had expressed that she would check it. So we've mapped it in an Excel sheet, but it's not in a flow tool. And so we're gonna send it to Caroline before we actually put it in like a pretty
Which-
sheet, I think was the plan.
Okay, which David just linked. So cool.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
In the chat. Yeah. And I may give the testing framework a shot on it. That might be a really useful stress test. If anything is a stress test, the 209A is a stress test of everyone and everything in every way.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's
Okay.
really cool. It's really cool though. If anybody has interest in poking around in it, it's really smart and great example of lots of how to structure lots of different things. So, okay, Anna, how are you doing?
I'm today just trying to get all caught up on all the trainings. Was hoping to be ready to start some things next week.
Great, thank you. Bryce, how are you doing?
Doing good. Did some refactoring of the proxy server this week, and I'm trying to figure out and make faster the download documents. I know some people have had like just issues where it takes 20 seconds, 30 seconds to actually give you the document, which some of that will still be there, but like I'm trying to figure out what is actually happening there, since I think it's a little more research than I thought. But yeah, that's that.
Don't let it eat up too many of your cycles either.
One, limiting it to today. So
Cool. And David, do you have any stand up?
Just a cool flowchart tool. And then I just wanted to take this opportunity just to say I think we're sort of entering sort of a new phase with everyone. So, Anna, I know you've just come on, so it's all very new to you. But everyone else now, you've been doing this for about a month. You had your onboarding times for plus 3 weeks. And so this is that fun part where it's like, okay, now we're just getting to stretch our legs and we're ready and you're going to be able to run, and then we'll get right, and then summer will end and then it'll be like, But this is the fun where you're going to get to sort of let it out of the gate and I really get to go. So I think Aubrey's going to start having conversations with you, if she hasn't already, about setting milestones that you can actually have dates that you're working towards something. Because I think now you have sort of a good enough feel for the work that you can say, okay, I think I can have this part done by this date. And then we'll use those to sort of internally help us organize things as we go forward. And so all of that is really just preface, a way of saying, great job for everything everyone's been doing. It's been looking really good. I know sometimes it can be frustrating. It's like, I'm doing all this stuff, but I don't see something yet. But I can see that it's coming along and we're just about to hit that stride. So keep up the good work. And that's all I had to say.
Awesome. Hey, team. Hi, Caroline. How are you? Do you have any stand up that you'd like to share?
Am I talking? Oh, yeah. I think the only thing I've done, I connected Kate with Shauna and Kajol, right? And then Ryan, have you heard from Abby?
Not directly, other than
Okay.
I saw that court case that I think you forwarded to us from her, but I haven't received anything from her directly yet.
Yeah, there were 2 emails I thought I had sent yesterday, and I sat down at my computer this morning and found them still in draft on my computer. So yeah, so I think that's all I've done is just connected people. That was the sum total of what I did. And Abby wrote the chapter on name change in the Family Law Advocacy Guide, but she responded to me saying that she thinks she just reviewed somebody else's chapter. It's not really her specialty, but she knows somebody else to go to for questions. I said it's better her than me, better that she do this than that I do it. And she said the statute had changed since that chapter, but then she gave it to me and I forwarded it to Ryan and Bodana this morning. That's me.
Awesome.
I don't think there's anything else. Well, I guess just to say the 209A interviews are with the translator now. And ATask has reviewed the Mass Legal Help 209A pages, and those are done. So those will be going up very soon.
Awesome. And Caroline, Eleni, and I were sharing how we've been working on the 209 testing, and we've got a sheet that maps out the flows, and we're going to share that with you. And if you want to set up some time after you've looked at it.
Okay. All right. Just bug me about it. Okay. Because
Okay.
I'm, I've been trying to meet with Bryce for 6 weeks.
Oh,
So
goodness.
I'm just like,
All right. But
okay.
we'll share it first and then start bugging you because we'll give you a chance to look at it. Okay. So I think that's everybody. So Sarah, are you ready to do your demo?
I
Give me a
sure
moment.
am. It's only months in the making. For some of you, this is the second time you've seen this demo, and it is ironically not even that long of a form. It just truly took so long to change it out. Hold on one second. Let me get ready to share my screen. I'm going to close off my tabs for those who get stressed out by such things, which is understandable. Okay, so for the folks who have kind of seen this demo before, a lot of the language, so we had done like a language review. A lot of that has stayed. The biggest changes are kind of the information needed to be on the new form. So it's less fields. So a few changes there. So there shouldn't be anything super radically different, but I'm going to go ahead and run through it. So this form is to request someone to be a SNAP or cash benefits representative. So that is like, so I guess there's, if I go to the next page, it will explain some of what that is, some of what the form can do. You name a SNAP representative or you name a cash benefits representative. Something super clear on the old form. So I have a few subject matter expert questions that I've been writing down, and I do have a name. I want to say the name is Jen. I have it written down for the last time that I needed to kind of go through the subject matter expert review. But now that I have a new form, I have new questions for them. So in the last form, it was really clear that you could only name one person per form. Like the language was straight up on there. On this replaced form, it doesn't say it as explicitly. So I want to double check to make sure that's the case. But this form still operates under the assumption that you can only fill it out for one person, but one person can do multiple things.
Sarah, did
Do
you
you
end
want to
up?
pause? Yeah, Caroline might be what you're saying and say the same thing.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead, David.
Could you just give people a little context, what this form is, what they're trying to do, and then what level of feedback you're looking for from this?
Okay. Oh yes. So what this form is, name somebody to be your authorized rep. What I would love to get feedback for is there's, I guess, some language things, but I know there's a lot of language on here. But I mean, this is most of a lot of language on the front, but also for the flow, because I want to make sure, because I think the language is also going to have to go through the subject matter expert to make sure that it all looks okay. But I think flow would be helpful, and you'll see at the end that there are some wonky. There's a wonky piece when I have to ask for a phone number. So I think kind of flow suggestions here. I have a specific flow ask that won't make sense until I get to the end of the form, but I think that is what would be the most helpful, and just to like make sure that the way this form operates makes sense. So I know it would be helpful to probably see what the form looks like.
So I've got two things. One, maybe it's be language further on, but I think it's not just plain language. The other thing is you don't have a SME yet, do you?
So we went back and forth because some folks didn't get back to me, but Quentin was the one that recommended somebody, and I think her name was Jen. I have to go back in my notes. Had specifically given me a name of somebody to reach out to.
That's what I'm. I think that you're at a point now where you've got enough questions that you need to do that. So the other thing I wanted to say is you start this off as choose. Can you just go up to the top of your screen here? Let me close the door just because it's loud. It says choose a SNAP or cash. The form doesn't help you choose, right? You've already chosen. You're telling DTA who your chosen person is, which is different, right?
Got it. So change language. Well, like change the whole title. I gotcha.
Yeah, and also think about what is the form actually doing? The form isn't helping you decide, oh, would you rather have your mother or your brother? The form is helping you tell DTA who your representative is.
Mm-hmm.
So when you take that perspective, then the language on this screen is going to change.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. Definitely.
And then little things, you don't need if you've got a heading, you don't need a colon at the end of it. So your name a
Gotcha.
SNAP representative.
Gotcha.
And I think it would be also name your SNAP if you were going to say name, it would still be, this is your SNAP representative. In fact, you could just say your SNAP. I haven't read it carefully, but instead of it's yours. This is, we're personalizing the interview.
Yep. Awesome. Sorry, I'm just like quickly typing.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can hear my like little 80 words per minute. Hold on. Okay. Perfect.
So I just thought, I mean, I can do more readability stuff with you outside of this, of your review, but I think that sort of approach, you need to just change the concept of what this form is doing, and that will inform the rest of your language throughout the interview.
Definitely. I do have a language question that might be helpful for others as well. How do we, so acronyms, I always spell out acronyms. I don't know why I took out, I think because they were such long acronyms. Is the expectation that the people who are filling out this form probably know the acronyms? Or, I think I had it all like spelled out, but the feedback was like, this page is too long. So how do we feel about acronyms? Specifically these really long ones.
This may be something you would talk to your SME about. I think by the time that you're naming a representative, by the time you're telling DT, you're already getting benefits, right? I'm assuming that's true. And then you can use SNAP and TAFDC and EADC.
Gotcha.
On Mass Legal Help, I typically write it out the first time, put the acronyms in parentheses. That's the only thing I use parentheses for, are acronyms, and then go from there. But I think in this context, I'm guessing people already know what these are. And that what we used to do, actually, SNAP, is if we put anything in parentheses, we'd call them food stamps, because that's how people think of. I mean, it's now it's been a few years, it's switched to SNAP, but SNAP, a lot of people think of SNAP as food stamps, but I think you're good now with SNAP and TFDC.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
You can also always use the mouse over definition feature.
Oh yeah, of
green
course you
words,
can. Yeah.
Okay, you know what? I think that is a solid.
That's a perfect solution. Yeah.
I think I'm going to do that, because even and I'll talk to the subject matter expert about this, like the acronyms, like spelling out the acronyms doesn't actually really make it any clearer. Like sometimes acronyms.
I mean, really right. People know what food stamps are, supplemental nutrition assistance program.
So green, I think green text, green words is going to be great. And I'll kind of talk about the best way to use those green words to explain it. All right, perfect. So next page, that's just the intro.
Oh, yeah, awesome. Just as I think you had italics in there somewhere too. You want to take those out. If you want to emphasize something, make it be bold.
Got it. Will do. Okay. I have people coming. 1 minute. Sorry, it's like people know when I'm on this call and they just can I find you in 5 minutes? Yeah. Sorry, everybody. Doing it live in the office. So, Sarah Bigalora. Street address. So it asks for your name, asks for your address. This is like, this was a piece that kind of took some logic, because you have to either put your DTA agency ID or your social security number. So we wanted to lean away from asking people automatically from their social security number. So do you know your agency ID? If you don't, last 4 digits. And if you do know it, one thing I have for the subject matter expert is like, is a DTA agency ID always going to be, like 10 numbers? So for what I did for Social Security is like, you can't put in more than 4 numbers, kind of as a safety precaution to not put in your whole Social Security number. Next, who is going to be your authorized representative? So I can just do Hans Smith, that's middle name. Again, this is the expectation is that this is only for one person. I don't know if things have radically changed. This is where it says what each person can do. So you can choose only one person, but you can choose multiple roles. And then this kind of explains it. What is the phone number? So this is a specific logic question. So the old form asked for a lot of different information about your representative. This new form you only need a phone number, but you'll kind of see in a second why it's wonky. So I'm putting in the phone number of that person. This is another interesting thing that led me down a rabbit hole. You can choose to have the person sign or the legal guardian sign. So I have like me, because I'm the user, or the legal guardian. So this led me down such a rabbit hole, but I did get it to work. So let's say that my legal guardian is like my mom. That later down the line, you'll see that it gets a little tricky. So we can preview the form. It has the information. So this is the phone number situation. There's only a line for phone number for the first option. So I don't know if like the expectation, so right now, if you choose the second option, I have the logic that the phone number doesn't show up, but I don't know if the phone number is something that we always need. So
wait,
so that's kind of
Sarah,
one question for the subject matter expert.
can you just slow down a minute? I'm not following what the phone, you're saying that if they're for SNAP, they ask for a phone number. If it's TAFDC, they don't ask for a phone number. Is that what you're saying?
So they only ask for a phone number for the first option,
which is a SNAP authorized, right?
Yeah.
And they don't ask for a phone number for any of the others. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah.
So either way, I mean, if they want the phone number, I'm thinking they only want it for the first. So a tricky thing that I am now getting into is that I realized as I was practicing for this demo this morning that I ask for the phone number either way. Like if I shouldn't ask for the phone number if they choose the second option. But right now the phone number is the only thing on that screen. So I'm wondering if I asked for the name of the representative, then I asked them to choose what they're going to do, then I asked for the phone number. So is there a way to skip a whole page if they don't choose the first option?
Yeah.
I don't. Okay.
So if you, it might be a bit complicated, but you should be able to, like, where in the field where the phone number is, like that, sorry, arrow. Like in that field, wait, is this a PDF or a docx? If it's PDF, it might be. Actually, there's so cool. Oh, Sarah, are you still there? Are you frozen?
Oh no, sorry, my connection is like going in and out. Can you hear me?
Okay.
But yeah, so I see where you're pointing to.
Yeah. So is the template a PDF or is it a docx? It looks like a
PDF,
right? Yeah. So for the PDF, like in the playground, there's that whole huge section that like puts all the variables directly, associates them with fields in the PDF. You should be able to say, have a condition on that variable that says like, if like put the phone number here if like if it's using SNAP and like this is the certification rep. Like you just have to have some logic there.
So I was able to do that piece. So let's say we uncheck this.
You're talking about the screen, aren't you? That's what you're saying. You're saying, can you skip the screen and the I mean, I think Bryce is answering the question you haven't asked yet because you don't know about it. But before,
I can do that. So I have, I mean, maybe I'm I think I'm talking about what you're talking about. I have the logic in that if this isn't checked, don't show it. So now because I unchecked that box, there's no variable here. It's like a space.
Yeah. Bryce is adding the logic to one level earlier. He's saying you don't have to think about setting the variable.
Yeah, and that's
Got
like
it.
you're definitely probably doing the right logic, but it's might not be like there should be a different way you can do it that says like
Yeah.
show this
And
only if it's defined, and so because otherwise it might try and figure out like, oh, what's the phone number, and then it might try and figure out like whether it needs to put the phone number in. Like DocAssembly will try and do that.
Gotcha.
And so yeah, there is another way that I think it's just like a function that's called show if def. And
Gotcha.
I'll
Okay,
send those
awesome.
in like the code
But-
help channel or something. But yeah.
But Bryce, you're talking about getting the field on the PDF, right? That's what you're talking about.
I was
Yeah.
talking both about getting the field in the PDF and preventing DocAssembly from asking about that field if it
The
doesn't
question,
need to know.
yeah.
So for everyone just following along at home, right? So remember, DocAssembly is deciding what screens to show based upon what variables haven't been defined. And so if you cut that off at the pass, so to speak, then it won't even show the screen, which was
The
Sarah's
screen,
original
The
yeah.
screen.
question.
Okay. That's definitely what I need. Wait, so one more thing I want to make sure the group gets to before I have to hop off and go back to work is, so I'm signing the form. So so this Sarah Figueroa, please sign below. So if a legal guardian signs the form,
Mhm.
is there a way to change this screen to like the legal guardian name?
Yeah. So I
wasn't
think
sure-
this is the third time we talked about this in the last review,
I'm
didn't
sorry.
we? About maybe thinking about, and this might be the SME, but if you have a legal guardian, it may be unlikely that you're going to be filling out this form. So you might ask in the beginning, it's this idea of I'm filling out the form, but I'm either a minor or incapacitated. And it seems to me a little bit odd that that person would be authorizing a representative. So you might start off with are you telling the court of an authorized, somebody that you want to authorize as a representative for your own case? Or are you the legal guardian or parent of somebody else? And then this gets into this whole, it's sort of a thing we've been talking about for over a year now about who the user variable is. But again, this is a situation where if it's a legal guardian or a parent, you might start from the beginning. I have to think a little bit, but how, who's using this interview, or whose case is this? Is this your case? Is it your case? Are you talking to DTA about your case, or are you talking to DTA about a case for somebody else? Because if you're the legal guardian, you also are an authorized representative for this person's case, right?
True. Yeah. And because like, I don't even know, do I have the ability to even, like, I think this is automated, right? Like what's here?
It is,
And
but
it's
you
the
can
user?
you can overwrite that. We did that in the
Change.
209A. That was that
Oh.
was, and also whatever who did the demo last time? Was that Ryan Bodana did a demo
Yeah,
on
I do
Tuesday?
remember we were talking about whether we should set the user to be the plaintiff or have a question that asks like, are you presenting this form on behalf of yourself, or do you have someone else presenting
Right.
it for you? And then asking like, is it a
Oh,
parent,
yeah.
guardian?
Yeah. So
Gotcha.
I think this might be something that enough people deal with it, and lots of times we don't think about it till we're at the end of the interview and the PDF says, okay, who's signing this form? And then you suddenly think,
Mhm.
oh, wait a minute, I need to ask a question at the very beginning to figure out who's doing the interview, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I wonder, so do you think that I should reframe it to ask at the way beginning?
I do.
Yeah. I don't know. We've
Okay,
had
I can do it.
we've had a style discussion though, haven't we, about how we usually handle that? Don't we usually
I can
expect people to be
also-
the file? We say fill it out as if you're the primary party.
What I can do is ask. So
I saw-
my next step. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I know I just saw Aubrey unmuted and I thought she
Oh.
might have.
Oh
I
yeah,
was just going to
please.
say that is how we do it on the 209A. As I've been very recently in it with Eleni.
Yeah,
We say once we know that the user, the main party, is not the person filling it out, we say, okay, fill it out as if.
but that was a
Got it.
decision that we made specifically for 209A. I'm not sure we made that decision across the board for all forms.
Michelle said on the side that user variable is now defined as main party, if that's helpful in this conversation.
Well, I know I want to be conscious of the fact that Sarah has to get back to work, and I want to ask you a question before we jump off,
I have people coming by my window. Yeah.
which is, do you need us to blur any of the information that you've shared over the screen today? So for example, your
Oh,
email
yeah, I
is
guess
visible.
maybe the address.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was that and the mailing address that came up earlier too? Is that what you were saying by address?
Yeah, I would just do the address.
All right, Aubrey, did
I
you
think
get
everything
the-
else is fake.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything else is fake.
Okay.
And then the same question to Regis while he's here, because he shared on Tuesday and we haven't made that live yet.
No, I think everything was fake that I used.
Very good. Sorry, that was all I wanted to make sure.
No, thank you. Thank you for asking. I'm like, here's all of my personal information on this public YouTube channel. So what I can do next is track down a subject matter expert and ask kind of my questions and come back with those, redo, and then we can kind of think about the whole legal guardian thing. That threw me for a loop.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
threw anyone else
I
for a
think
loop,
it
but-
might make sense to talk to your subject matter expert about who typically, they'll say nobody's using this form anymore. But if somebody were to use this form,
Mhm.
I think that because they'll have the best grasp on who would be filling it out and whether to use that, fill it out as if you're the person. That's because they'd understand the context of the form.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. I will ask. Thank you all. I'm gonna hop off. Get back to work. Talk to y'all soon. Have a great long weekend.
Thanks, Sarah. Great work. All right. And with that, I think we ran a little bit over on our stand up. So thank you
Yeah.
for everyone for sitting and doing the demo for Sarah. It'll be
All
very
right.
helpful for her. That's a wrap.
Anything anyone else wants on the record?